Ready? Chapter 18. Betrayal. Keon looked up. It was getting dark and he could hardly see the road ahead of him anymore. We need to set up camp before it gets pitch black, Juha said to Atle. We'll do it in the forest over there. Atle pointed ahead. Juha raised his voice. Listen, everyone. Make sure to get some sleep tonight, because we will be gunning for it early tomorrow. As soon as the sun rises, non-stop running until it gets dark. We need to use every single ray of sunshine we get. The days are just getting darker and darker now. It's soon October. They're so big, yet they can go days without eating, like it's nothing. Where do all the energy come from? Keon thought out loud. You underestimate them. They aren't regular humans. They're blood mages, Aino answered him. But I'm just a regular human and I'm hungry, Keon said in return. You don't have to eat. You know I can give you an energy boost whenever you need, she reminded him. Yeah, but I like food, he answered with a smile. A lone campfire was burning. Keon, Aino, Jorun, Disa and Arvid were sitting by it. Most of the other officers were already asleep on the ground around them. You have to stop angering the other generals. It's not good for you, Disa said to Arvid. You're one to talk. You were the one who taught me how to disrespect authorities, he replied. I do not disrespect them. I just treat them like they weren't authorities, she said calmly. You kick up and you know it. You love to challenge anyone above your own rank. He stared at her. Yeah, it kinda sucks that I'm a major general now. So few above me. It was so much easier when I was a second lieutenant, an entire smorgasbord to pick and choose from. She grinned, thinking back. Well, you outrank me now, so I guess that gives me all the free passes I need. He raised his eyebrows at her. Aren't you sneaky? She looked at him sideways. Either way, I'm not on night shift tonight, so I'm going to go sleep now. Good night, my grizzly bear. He patted Disa on the shoulder, but immediately took off running as soon as he saw the angry look on her face. What did he call me? That little... Disa clenched her fists and ran after him. Jorun sat and poked in the campfire with a stick. She didn't seem particularly interested in what went on around her. So what's your story? Aino looked at her. The brigadier general jumped in surprise at the sudden question. She put her hand to her chest to calm herself down. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to startle you. I guess you were lost in your own thought. Aino felt a bit bad. What do you mean by my story? Jorun looked back at Aino while leaning her head to the side. Everyone here has one. Your past. Why you came to be a mage. Aino replied. The ruler. He killed my family. The deal was to fight for him or die. I will never fight for his dynasty. I ran away and found my way to the Blood Army, Jorun answered. Aino and Keon looked at each other. Another one with an identical story to Banke and Edda. Short and without telling any further information apart from the most vital part. It was almost too perfect. A cover-up for something else. Is he gone? Is Arvid gone? Banke came up to them, looking worriedly around him. He was chased away by Disa. He said something insulting again. They're probably sleeping together somewhere in the woods by now, Jorun answered him. Sleeping together? Banke raised his eyebrows at her. Oh, I didn't mean it like that. Sit down instead. She pointed to the empty space next to her. So, I'm on the night shift together with you, it seems? Banke sat down where she had pointed. You are going to be on guard duty? Aino looked at him in disbelief. Last time you were, you spent several hours sleeping instead. I did not sleep, he responded firmly. Right. It's not like I saw you sleep or anything, Aino said, rolling her eyes. Really? Jorun looked at him and shook her head. Hey, don't judge me. Sleep is important to me. He crossed his arms. The two of you seem quite chummy, I must say. Almost like you've known each other for a long time." Keon looked suspiciously at the two generals. Banke, who had just taken a sip of water, sprayed the whole thing over the campfire. Yulin shook her head. "You sure aren't subtle. We should be happy you weren't the one sent to Nila. We would have been found out right away." She shifted her attention to Keon. "What gave it away?" she asked him. "You, Banke and Edda have identical stories. Plus you said you found your way to the Blood Army, not Nila's Blood Army." "Edda talked about Nila's Blood Army like it wasn't her army either," he answered. "You're smart. If Nila had more people like you and less like the incompetent officers he had before, he might not have lost the last battle." She smirked at him. "You can't talk about it here. What if the other officers hear?" Banke bit his nail. "I don't care anymore. We have a truce. We will be one army at the end of the day. The Blood Army. I betrayed Nila to unite us. I don't regret it for a second," she answered with determination. "Tell us your story. The full story this time." Aino looked at both Yulin and Banke. Yulin nodded. "We grew up together. I, Banke, and Edda. Both I and Banke had a good upbringing, I would say. We were as happy as could be expected in the circumstances. Edda, on the other hand, her parents... I don't think they ever wanted her. They repeatedly called her a mistake. I guess her parents never wanted a child, so they mostly ignored her and treated her like air. I don't think she ever felt loved by her family, so she learned to fend for herself. We were only children, but we tried our best to play and have fun with her. The day the wolf army came, we were all playing in Edda's house, in the basement, to keep away from the rest of our family." Banke snickered. "I wouldn't say play exactly. Edda was always more into drawing up strategies for different circumstances, escape plans and such. We were only 7, but she had her mind set for something bigger back then already. When we heard the ruckus from upstairs, and we knew the ruler had finally come to our town, Edda didn't hesitate for a second. She led the way through the basement door on the side of the house that led to the outside. The only problem was that 2 soldiers were positioned just outside it as well. They looked at us as Edda calmly lifted up her bow and took aim at them. They laughed at her, thinking it was just a toy she had made herself. They were right that she had made it herself, but it wasn't a toy. You have seen what she does. She takes 2 arrows at once and fires them off together, and she never misses. It was the first time I had ever seen her do it. The arrows hit each of the soldiers in their throat. Then we ran. We ran as fast as we could. We followed Edda every step of the way. It was like she had it all planned for a long time." Yulin continued the story. "When we ran through the village, we saw people laying dead on the streets. I wanted to stop, check on my family, but Edda wouldn't let any of us stop. She probably saved our lives all over again with that. All we would have seen in our homes were the dead bodies of our families, minutes before we ourselves would have been killed by the soldiers. We ended up at an abandoned castle. Well, that's what we thought it was, at least. We planned on hiding there, or well, it was Edda's plan. I and Banke just kind of followed her. The only problem was that there were already people living there. Eila, Tore, Tora and Juha, to be exact. Eila was never the motherly type, and Tora, after what she had gone through, it took her several years to get back to a somewhat normal state. So it fell on Tore to raise us, and he tried his best. But we were 4 kids in total with Juha included, so he struggled a lot. Luckily, Ask and Embla joined the year after, so they took over after him. They're amazing with children, such loving people. They take care of all the orphans, all the strays we take in to this day. I think many of us consider them our parents, or at least the closest we could come after we had lost our own ones." Banke smiled at Yulin. "Ask and Embla sure are one of a kind. The army grew so much over the years, and so did the orphanage where all the lost children came. Then the officer program was introduced, and as more and more children came of age to join it, the army expanded even further. It took many years for the major wars to actually start. When we were cadets, nothing had turned bloody yet. It was during our last year that things were starting to get ugly. The three of us graduated top of the class in our year. That's when Ayla approached us. She wanted two of us to infiltrate Nila's blood army, and the third to stay behind and be our contact that we could report anything back to. Jogun and Edda joined Nila's blood army as infiltrators, while I stayed behind and became their contact. Tove was the only major general before I became one as well. Ayla had the spot saved for me for years, until she felt I was ready for it. It's also one of the reasons why I'm the youngest out of all of Ayla's generals. I was promoted to Major General rather quickly. Ayla needed me close to know all the intelligence needed for the battles to come. Jogun put her hand on Banke's shoulder. You are an excellent general as well. Don't forget that. Ayla knew that. She wouldn't have chosen you if she didn't see the potential in you. Before Edda and I left for Nila's blood army, Ayla ordered us to do everything we could to rise through the ranks as fast as possible. When we came to Nila, we told him we had just become officers in the Wolf Army, but had decided to run away instead. It was easy. We were moved directly to unranked soldiers in his army. No officer schooling needed. He thought we had gotten it all from the ruler after all, not Ayla. He made us into mages right away. Ayla had taught us what to say, what to do. She gave us all the information we needed to survive and thrive as Nila's soldiers. She wanted us in his inner circle, that she could get the information needed to end the feud. Then we became generals. All the information was in front of us, all we needed to crush the army from within. All the strategies for the next battle fed directly to us. We brought it to Banke and the ball was set rolling. Nila's blood army didn't stand a chance. They were being crushed before they even understood what was happening. Nila saw right through both me and Edda at the battlefield, but it was too late. The excuse for not promoting us after the battle was that Atle and Disa wanted peace, and that's what Nila wanted too. In reality, it was because he trusted them and not us. How has Edda fared through all of this? Banke asked Johan. Johan shrugged. Oh, she's the same as she's always been. Constant stone face. Although she did seem quite offended that time I mistakenly kissed her. Hold up, Banke interrupted. How do you mistakenly kiss someone? I was drunk, okay? I tripped and fell in the wrong direction, she explained. Right. Maybe I should try and mistakenly kiss her too, he air-quoted Johan mockingly. Point is, she didn't talk to me for a week after that, Johan continued. You sure it was because she was offended, not because you're a bad kisser? Banke smirked at her. I am not a bad kisser, she stared at him. Prove it, he stared back at her. Several seconds of silence passed as the two just stared at each other. You're actually thinking about it, Banke started laughing. Oh, shut up, she said and pouted. Banke put his hand on her head and ruffled her hair. I missed you. She smiled at him. I missed you too.